300 of my programs, whether it's undergrad or graduate. So what can I contribute to this presentation today? Well, it's because I did go through law school, I did get my JD, and I did practice for a little while before moving on to the university and changing my career a little. But the point I want to make with you today is that what you learn in law school is it's such an interesting and unique education process that the skills you learn in law school will be useful for you for the rest of your life. So I want to just break down a little bit about the law school experience for you. Not just the one classroom or IRAC, but kind of give you a road mapping of what you'll see for all your 3 years career in the law school. Okay, so you have been admitted to law school. What's next? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so I chuckle at this meeting because it all has some element of the truth to it, right? So this is law school from what you and your peers think what law school is. The first one is what your parents think you do. Well, you're admitted to law school, and that's a real prestigious thing, and your parents are very, very, undoubtedly very, very proud of you. And so here you are in your classroom, doing your Socratic method, IRAC, all that stuff. On the weekends, law students, they study hard, but they also play hard too. So when you bring your friends over the weekend and check out law school and hang out with you, you can find that a lot of your law students are having a lot of social gathering and partying, which is not necessarily a bad thing because that's a lot of what your networking may come from too. You're not just networking with your professors and with companies, but you're also making a lot of future colleagues for the rest of your life. And then this is what society thinks we're doing. We're in the courtroom all the time, kind of like a Perry Mason drama. And then our professors. Yes, they know that a lot of times we're on the computer, but we're not necessarily taking notes. Right? We're doing some sort of Facebooking or shopping online, right? And then for us, yes, winning, but for law school, we're also wanting to succeed. We want to make the grade. We want to pass those tests. We want to be able to graduate, prepare us for our JD, for LLM, and for our bar. So, but what we actually do, yes, that's also part of law school is the studying part, right? When I started law school the first year, I remember one professor said that for every hour of class, you're going to do 3 hours of studying. So, I was like, oh my gosh, I had 15 hours of class, and that means I'm going to have to do I don't remember because I'm not good at math, but a lot of studying. But it actually gets better because as you get familiar with the tools, as you get familiar with how to study, how to prepare for the classes, for the Socratic method, it's going to work out better for you. It's going to be easier as time gets on. Maybe your first semester of 1L is going to be a little bit difficult, but once you go through that hump, it'll be fine. And actually, I think you're going to enjoy it. Okay, just like the previous presenters say, the first year classes are pretty much fixed, chosen for you. The grades, at least for my first year program, was dependent upon a 4-hour exam that counted for your entire grade of the semester. So my contracts grade was my final grade, final test that I took. And that could be a little different from some students that come in from undergrad that are used to midterms, quizzes, and other types of testing methodologies. But that's not to say that all classes are like that. We do have opportunities for quizzes as well, and it depends on the teacher how he or she does the type of grading analysis. Okay, and of course we have the Socratic method. And the Socratic method is basically a type of educational method where the teacher in front of the classroom, looks at the ledger, finds the face, the photograph to the name, and calls on you maybe for an hour. At first it's kind of strange, especially from maybe Asian culture, because we're here, we're sitting in the class, we're paying the professor tuition, and the professor is not teaching but asking us to lead class. It's kind of weird, right? But that type of education is very valuable because it'll give you the ability to not only learn your materials, but to be able to confidently present it in class and later on in the course. Yeah. Again, these are some of the classes, just as an illustration of the first year. They're fixed for you. In our law school, there's 2 sections. So 108 students are divided into 2 classes, taking the same class, albeit sometimes with different professors, but you're learning the same thing. And then we're running into something else, like the grading on a curve. Now, in a lot of law schools, what's different than undergrad is that when you take the grade, you list the whole class, and everybody gets a random number, and it's from 1 to 180, however many people are inside the class. And the highest person gets the highest grade, of course. The lowest person gets the lowest grade. It's all determined by the professor. And don't freak out about this because it's very difficult to kind of fail the law school. Even at the lowest end, you might get a 2.0 out of 4. It's fine. You can prepare for the next exam, and you will have times where you score high and sometimes not so high. But that's all part of the law school experience. To take that and to learn from it and to keep going. That's why we're lawyers, right? We learn from this and we keep going. Here's a little cartoon about the grading on a curve. You can read about it when we send the presentation out to you. I want to try to keep it short. And this is a movie that I do recommend everyone to watch, The Paper Chase. This is Professor Houston, I believe. It's a really good movie. He's a good actor, and he's doing the Socratic method, right? And at one point, I think the student, at the back of the class, really excited, gets the answer right. This is what he says. Okay, I guess I don't have that. He says something really smart. Okay. I don't know what happens to the words. But let's just move on. Something about you think at some point you've gotten the purpose of the argument, but I assure you that's delusion on your part. So he's one of the professors that's got an attitude. He wants to make the students squirm in the seat. But don't worry about that. Because if you squirm in your seat, less chance that you'll be squirming in the seat in the courtroom later on in your career. Okay, so I want to move on to what's the point of law schools. Right? In American law schools, the point is not really to learn laws or to memorize them. There's too many statutes out there, there's too many case laws out there, and there's no point in learning them because you won't remember. For JD, you're not looking at a specialty. That's what the LLM is for. So what is the purpose of the JD law experience? So there's the 3 things that I can think of that are the purposes for your JD law experience. One is for networking. The second one is Illinois is not one of those 5 states that allow the LLM to take the bar exam. If you don't have a JD, is that you can sit for the bar, obviously. And then the main thing is the law experience is supposed to train you to think critically like an attorney. Like what Andy just the burglary case, you're applying the facts, you're applying the laws, and then you're arguing both ways. Again, IRAC, there's different types of versions of IRAC. There's a CRAC. It's the same thing. Issue, rule, application, conclusion. Or conclusion, issue, rule, application, and restatement conclusion. It's the same thing, right? We're trying to find out if this is first issue, first degree or second degree burglary. Second is we're applying the rules. We first look at the statutes. And the statutes are not clear, we're going to look at the case law to give us the clarification on those statutes. And then we're going to apply those statutes to apply the facts to the statutes you can draw your conclusion depending on who you're working for, right? Okay, I'm going to break down the 1L, 2L, 3L timeline as well. This is a kind of a general model of what a lot of American students and international students can do during the first and second years at law school. So first they will be, after the first, and definitely by the second law school year, you're going to be seeking an internship. You definitely want to nail down an internship by the end of your 2L career because that's going to give you real-world application and practice. Right? They're learning stuff that's outside the classroom. And then these internship opportunities may also lead to future employment opportunities. That's going to be good for you. If not, then at least other colleagues that you will know for the rest of your life that will support you in what you do. Okay, for the 3L student in the JD program, for Americans, you'll be interviewing for jobs, and I think international students as well. You can be interviewing jobs during that time. That time, obviously, after you graduate, during that time, you're going to be studying for the bar exam. And then the third point I want to make is don't stress, trust largely. What does that mean? When the bar exam comes and you're going to take the bar to get your license to practice, there's going to be all kinds of different kinds of laws being tested, torts, property, evidence, procedures, all these things. And those are from your first and second year law study programs, and you're not probably going to remember all the elements of a certain law case, right? But don't worry, because you have this bar rate or other study aids that will help you memorize all your elements, put it into practice, and you'll take a lot of multiple choice questions and essay practice questions to help you pass the bar. Okay, so I just want to give some advice before I conclude. It's always important to go to office hours. I know after a very intensive Socratic drilling, it might be a little hard to approach your professor. But I want to assure you that that's the best time to do it. Because one-on-one, it's going to be a lot better. He or she's not going to Socratic you in the office. You can ask any questions, get all the answers, right? And then you can put that into practice, making your experience better for the next class. Always get a full night's sleep. I've never stayed up late through my entire law school career. I always believe that getting sleep is more important than cramming for that test. And then the next day, if you stay up all night, you're not going to be able to perform that well on the test anyway. What you know by the time you go to sleep is what you're going to retain for the law exam. Obviously, you want to take notes, make outlines. That's not just important for the final exam, but when you make briefs and when you study certain case law, you make the notes. That'll give you the ability to address professor's question when he or she calls on you. Always treat your body well. Don't neglect food or exercise, and also have fun, join clubs, and be part of a social gathering, right? Because that's going to allow you to explore more of your potential and your interests, help you network and make friends and colleagues, and have a lot of fun in law school. It's not just about studying, but having that American experience in and outside of law school, okay? So thank you so much.
So we're a little behind schedule, but I think one part of the law conference that a lot of people look forward to is the alumni panel. So I think we have about 3 people, one last minute. Right. So if the alumni that would like to come up, if you would like to come up here, I've got chairs for you. But well, this is a chance. If the alumni would mind introducing yourselves and maybe you can talk a little bit about your school, and then this is a chance where students, prospective students, can ask some questions about anything you're curious about. I think it's a really good opportunity to talk to people from different schools. So if you please come to me. Thank you. Oh yes, you can please. And if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to Korea. I graduated Penn State Law School 11 course 2 years ago. I am a professor in Dongguk University. And nice to meet you. I try to answer from your question. My name is Dr. Lee Elayo.
Staring out the window, I can see the wind blow. Watching the